It is Monday, May 18th, 2015, and since last week I posted we'd had 7.3 inches of rain in 6 days. A week later we're now up to 9.9 inches, almost 10 inches. Everything's soaking wet, and it's also the warmest day of the year. So we got lots of humidity, south wind, and it's supposed to get in the mid to upper 80s, so starting to feel more like summer. The Meadowlark singing, hear a Bluebird singing. I have two blue jays right above me in this pecan tree. And I just finished, I'm still not done, but I spent an hour picking up branches, and we had a severe thunderstorm Saturday night. And it's one of the strongest storms we've ever had. I've lived here 13 plus years. It hurled deadfall and green clusters of leaves as far from the west east as I've seen. I spent as much of my energy as I could picking all that up. And then I cooled off and came out to do this. I try to record on sunny days, which we don't have many of lately because it's always raining. And I'm on the east side of the property. And this used to be a road. It has a road bed of gravel, and it's grown up with trees, so it's like my eastern green wall, which it's nice in there. It goes into the backyard. This is the east yard. And that's a Yocinto cherry, which has struggled, so I'm letting another one grow up beside it. The top of it died out over several years, and I had to keep cutting it out, and it looks like it's stopped now. It's stopped dying, but I just let another one grow up beside it and just going to make it a big bush. I think that's all I can hope for with it. I've had it for years. I think I planted that probably in '03, and it's as good as it's done. It does bloom in the spring. And then this is my eastern green wall. There's American crow calling. And it's nice back in here. Sparky, the little Westie in some of the videos, the deer come back out in here in the evening, and then I've seen a woodchuck back in here, and then occasionally an armadillo comes through here, and opossum, and it just drives him crazy. He can smell them. They come back in these little wooded area here. But the deer come through here in the evening. He sits out here at the fence and barks at them. The pond's still completely full. Actually, I think it's a little higher than it was. These are a couple of pine trees I planted that have not, boy, they seem to be doing good with this rain. Man, they've really grown some, but they've been there for years. I don't know, 12 years. I thought they'd be a lot bigger by now. I've kind of given up on them. I had a wintergreen bush come up on the side of this one, so I cut it back last year to let that wintergreen bush come up. Thought I'd try to see if I can encourage it, and then I'll just keep expanding the bricks out. And same over here, this has a bush, wintergreen, growing, so I cut it back and letting it grow and just make a whole little tree and bush area instead of just waiting any more further on these pine trees. But they have really jumped lately. They must have had a good winter or something. We had a wet winter enough. And then we had a 2011 and 12 were drought, and everything kind of stalled out growing. I've got another little bush over here. I can't think of the name of it, but I've transplanted it like twice. It just never takes off. I need to put something else there. That's the eastern edge. And then there's more. I let that grow back in there. There's actually a drainage, a kind of a wet weather creek here. It's full of water right now. I just let that grow. Let the trees come up in it. And you sure can't get through there right now, and I can't mow it, but there's actually a trail through there that goes around the pond that I keep mowed normally, but there's still water running down here through the ditch that I have to cross with a tractor. Well, up there too. It's just tremendous amounts of water. So it'll probably be a while before I can mow. I remember when there's been years I couldn't get through there till June and even later in June, but sometimes I can mow it on drier spring so I can keep it mowed. I think I've mowed it once or twice this year before all this rain started. Here are the red-winged blackbirds. They're going strong today. And there's that oak tree I looked at from the other side last time. And the pond again. It's doing great. Some kids came out earlier. I let fish, and the water's up so high they really couldn't hardly get in anywhere to fish, except on the back. And then the ticks are pretty bad right now. I heard them making some noises back there. I don't know if they saw snakes or if it was the ticks. I don't know. But they didn't. They gave it a try for a while. And this is the fenced yard. There's a Downy woodpecker fussing, a high-pitched sound, descending tone. And I'm trying to see what that bird is up there. I think I got a good one. And then there's another bush over there. I planted that, and I've had to transplant it before, and it has red berries, and I don't know what the name of it is anymore. I lost some of my records when I migrated from Microsoft to Google, and I lost some information on some of the different things I've planted. And there's the apple tree I showed last time. It's not very tall, but it's prolific with apples. Linda doesn't know what to do with them all. She'll make apple pie and give them away and make apple pie for other people, and still got sacks of apples. And right here I've got a rose of Sharon right there in that corner. And it's actually done pretty good. I planted, I believe it's 2011, right at the beginning of a 2-year drought. And I literally had to run the water hose and carry buckets of water to it, as I did all these trees back in the drought. I'll run the water hose about pencil thin. I've had droughts in 06, 11, and 12. And then these other plants coming up around it. There used to be a bird feeder here. You can see the black stand. And whatever seeds were in it, those started coming back up, and they have seeds, so I just let them come up in this one area every year. And it creates food for the birds, forage for them. And as it gets warmer here, they're starting to take off. And last time I forgot, I wanted to show my sycamore. This is just a great tree. I planted that as a very small one, and I really messed up. I should have planted it further down. It's thriving where it is, but I had no idea it would get that big. And I wish I'd plant it further down. It was so small, but it's wet back here and stays moist. And they're a creek tree anyway. If you in eastern Oklahoma, if you go out on a creek, you usually see sycamores. And boy, it has loved it here. And I can't. It's impossible to show on here, but if you go in underneath it, it's open underneath. There's no leaves, and it's like a dome or something. And in the summer, it creates quite a 3D effect under there. You just walk in there and walk underneath it and look up, and it just provides a solid shade. It's just a wonderful tree. I just wish it was a little bit further from the house. And it was right here, we were pulling in the other day. It really surprised me. There are 2 Baltimore Orioles on the ground. You usually don't see them on the ground. I think they were going through the mating ritual. I've been hearing the males sing since mid-April. And they make a route. I have Baltimore Orioles every year, and they go around these trees, and they have a big ear, and they're marking their area for other Baltimore Orioles. And you'll hear him singing. And they have a whole route of trees he goes through. And he'll stop at each one and sing. And then I guess he met someone, and there were 2 of them on the ground, and they were kind of jumping around doing some kind of ritual. So I did hear him early this morning at dawn singing a little bit, but I assume they're probably going to nest now. Boy, it almost sounded like a catbird back there. It was probably a mockingbird. I also have a brown thrasher. I haven't seen him since all this rain. He's around. I have brown thrashers. They like all this brush. That's how they nest. They like brush, heavy brush, and boy, that sounds like a catbird, but it's probably a mockingbird. I saw one fly over that way. Actually, the catbirds and the mockingbirds and the brown thrashers are in a group called mimids, which is for mimic.